John, it's good to see you down in Central Florida after, well, braving the wilds of Idaho this time of year. It can't be a whole lot of fun.
Well, thank you, Jim. It's kind of nice to be down here where it's warm and, well, sunny except for this morning, and it was a nice time to come down.
First of all, rather than throwing the airplane on a truck and driving on down and having that kind of adventure, you guys flew down. This time of year has to be more of an adventure than you may have wanted. What was the trip like?
Actually, I have to tip my hat to Paul Leadabrand. I've made this trip several times in the past with the Kitfox. Paul Leadabrand was sticking Rudder Aviation out of Boise. He's a flight school there. Opted to fly the airplane down here from Boise, and he actually had a very good trip. Obviously, we try to plan it in advance so that we can get between weather systems. The Continental Divide can be very risky this time of year due to weather and the snow and all that. It's a 2,100-mile trip. And he had a nice trip coming down. It actually worked out quite well and got down here a little early.
This has to be a good validation, though, of small aircraft like the Kitfoxes, cross-country vehicles.
Paul's emphasis was to show the economy, the reliability, and the dependability of the Kitfox. And making this trip, as you know, it's not necessarily the destination all the time, although we were coming to the U.S. Sport Aviation Expo. The trip becomes a journey, so you actually plan things along the way, and that makes it an enjoyable journey as well. So the 20 hours isn't all packed into one day. It's 3 days of shorter trips that you stop and visit Dauphin Island, for example, and make it an enjoyable trip.
Now, how is this aircraft equipped?
It's simply equipped with a Dynon Skyview, 10-inch Skyview, SL40 radio, and a transponder. Made a point of he came down with the sectionals on his iPad and a Dynon. That was it.
Well, it's one of the things that's interesting right now about today's versions of LSAs. You don't see the gauges anymore. Everybody's gone to the latest generation of sport aviation flat panels, and the capabilities are really quite exciting.
Our base model S-LSA is equipped needle ball and airspeed, so it's conventional gauges for the guy that really wants to go conventional gauges. The advantages of the glass panel is you get a lot of bang for your dollar and you get a lot more instrumentation. So it really becomes a full six-pack, as we're familiar with, so that a person can get a lot more information in a very lightweight, simple package that's very readable, although as we get older, we need the bigger screens.
Freedom through performance. At Cirrus, performance is not simply the measurement of a single design parameter. Rather, it's a total package. It's optimum balance of speed, efficiency, comfort, safety, ease of flight, and quality. We call it Cirrus Flying 2.0. Aren't you ready to feel the freedom?
As I understand it, once the airplane was down here, though, you guys added an adventure to the adventure. Tell us what you did with it. I mean, the last thing I think about, frankly, a Kitfox doing is going out and island hopping.
As I said, we managed to get in between weather systems coming down, so we were here early. The fact that we got here early opened up an opportunity, and obviously the Bahamas had recently opened their doors in inviting light sport aircraft into the islands over there. So we kind of looked at it and said, well, we can sit in Sebring for a few days, or we can go over to the Bahamas, and we chose to go to the Bahamas. Hit Fort Lauderdale, and then from there it was a 50 nautical mile to Bimini, which doesn't sound like that's all that great of a deal, although you're 50 miles over open water. And we said, you know what, this is fairly simple. So we went to North Aleutian, where's Harbor Island, which is 225 statute miles from the Fort Lauderdale shoreline, and spent a couple days over there and shot around the islands and just had a great time. We did learn that there is a $300 fine for landing on the beach. Not that we did that, but we did learn that you don't want to do that while you're in the Bahamas. But it was a great time. It speaks very highly of the industry. It also speaks highly of the Rotax engines to have that kind of reliability and dependability to fly over open water. It's a very dynamic, different switch. As you know, flying up in Idaho backcountry, it's really not that much different. If there's a power plant failure or something along those lines, your options are very limited. Flying over the water, your options are pretty set in stone. You're getting wet. And unfortunately, we have a huge baggage area in the airplane, so we were able to put the life raft in there, which is required, the marine time and all that, and that gives you that moment of sanity. Interestingly enough, one of the things we did learn is that as pilots, we fly all over the country, and we're always looking for where to land. That's inbred to us. So as we're flying out over water, where do you land? And if you think about it, you go, okay, well, it doesn't matter, it's water. It does. Try to find a boat. Yeah. Land near or in front of a boat. And that's something that we kind of, as we're flying across there, you don't think about and go, wow, that would make sense.
How was the reception to the Kitfox in the islands?
It was really kind of cool. Obviously, with the big tires, they're not used to seeing this type of airplane over there. So they would come out, they were greeting, they were excited about seeing it, and they just don't see that. And I wonder why. You know, I don't know why, but it was kind of fun because, you know, you're parked amongst some jets and a lot of twin engines and not very many singles, but there were a few of them there.
Was there any issue with flying an LSA or an experimental in that area?
There is not anymore. Recently, the Bahamas had opened up and invited the light sport aircraft into the country, and that happened fairly recently, if I'm not mistaken. And that was one of the reasons we took the advantage. And I believe the experimentals can get permission to go in there as well.
The beauty of the Release 9 system architecture is that you have two fully redundant integrated flight displays. Each has access to all the systems and data. Providing full redundancy and eliminating traditional reversionary modes, Release 9 allows either display to be configured as the PFD. Now your failure modes are much more manageable because you can continue to fly with the same familiar display symbology without the need to relearn composite modes you don't typically fly with. Avidyne's Integra Release 9 is truly the next generation in fully integrated flight deck technology.
What are the plans for the trip back? Any particular ambitions for the route, or any kind of special plans for where you might go?
Obviously, weather's going to depend where it goes and how it gets there, and Paul will be flying the airplane back up to Idaho. Obviously, the idea is to make it the journey, so see how many grass strips we can find on the way home.
Obviously, the question is, especially with an aircraft like this is not a personal Kitfox. This is a training aircraft. This thing works.
It does. This aircraft that's behind us here has been in a flight school operating in Boise for 400 hours. You'd have to talk to Paul to be sure, but I believe in 1 week he performed over 80 landings. To date, he's done well over 1,000 landings in the airplane with students. So this airplane is actually being used actively in that flight school environment, and his emphasis is tailwheel training, mountain flying proficiency. He's a very accomplished mountain flying instructor. If somebody's interested in getting a tailwheel endorsement, learning more about the Kitfox, or interested in building a Kitfox or buying a Kitfox, this is the guy to come see and go fly it. You'll enjoy it, and you'll get some experiences that you might not have gotten otherwise.
And this is representative of the S-LSA that is currently available right through Kitfox?
Absolutely. The base model, this has the Super Sport paint scheme on it. The base model is white with color trim. It does come with 100 horsepower Rotax, and then we can option from there from tri-gear to tail wheel. The convertible gear system and the folding wing is all standard on the airplane.
Well, good deal. Well, we appreciate your time, and we'll look forward to hearing about the adventures on the way home. Be sure to keep us up to date.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.